Hi everyone, I am Alannah Woodring, a fourth-year Sustainability Science and Society major in the Social Science Department. This is my SURF and URIP project, titled What are the Best Practices to Integrate Therapy Gardens into Programs Serving At-Risk Populations? This project is serving the Barbara Gundlach Women's Shelter in Calumet, Michigan. We are working with researchers, planners, and public health directors from Michigan Tech, MSU Extension, the Western UP Planning and Development Region, and the Portage Health Foundation, where we are working together to build a therapy garden for their residents. My portion of the project was researching the best practices to ensure they have a smoothly running program. The Gundlach Shelter is looking to have a main therapy garden along with the children's sensory garden. My overall deliverables include a full in-detail write-up of the recommendations, including concerns from the Gundlach Shelter that were brought up during our listening session. I also have a full plant list with the seasonality and other details about each recommended plant from my interviews. I began my research with a literature review looking at therapeutic healing, trauma-informed healing, and children's sensory gardens. Around this time, I also began researching individuals and organizations who have experience building and implementing therapy gardens or children's sensory gardens. We then scheduled a semi-structured interview over Zoom with them. The interviews I conducted were recorded. I had 2 interviews and 3 informal conversations. I then transcribed the interviews and used grounded theory to code an in vivo, which is a qualitative analysis software. Here I identify codes which are main ideas or important topics. I identified 2 key areas, the first being called atmosphere. Atmosphere is a multi-dimensional code that transcends the initial quiet and safe space you think of in a therapy garden. Dimensions of atmosphere include a multisensory space, safe and inviting atmosphere, and a focus on healing from the staff. Elements like water sounds, bright colorful flowers, and decor items that are inviting in nature can help to reduce the industrial space and cater to nature. If you look at figure 1, that is a flowchart of the dimensions of atmosphere. From one of my interviews, I heard a story about how in her therapy garden she is able to start conversations with women by asking, "So how are you taking the weeds out of your life?" or "Where are you growing in life?" These are all conversations to help women reflect on their personal growth while still being connected to the garden. The children's sensory garden is fundamentally different than the regular garden for the women. For the children, the garden needs to be low to the ground, child-friendly, and interactive. Here I am recommending the use of fairy gardens, gnomes, or ceramic mushrooms to create a whimsical environment for the children to have fun in. The second area I identified is called Keys to Success. These sections include making every voice heard, community connections, and sustainability. From my interviews and literature reviews, I learned successful therapy gardens are survivor-driven. Ways to create this empowering space is by letting the women create a mission statement or having them perform most of the day-to-day work. Second important voice is from the staff. For the program to be successfully carried out, you need to hear from the staff and address their concerns. The next section is community connections. Other than the garden itself, there needs to be an administrative day such as day-to-day upkeep. This is where a lot of gardens fall short. One interviewee shared a story with me about how during her first year in the garden, they had plenty of volunteers, but then the second year there was no one signing up to help the upkeep. So building community connections with like the Husky Helpers or other organizations can ensure that there is a partnership in place and always someone to help out at the Gundlach Shelter. My last section is sustainability. Where is the Gundlach Shelter going to buy their plants from, and where are they going to get their funding from every year? These are issues that need to be addressed ahead of time so that the program has a strong foundation for many years to come. I would like to thank SURF, URIP, and the Deliverables Foundation for my funding. I would also like to thank Mary Niemela and the staff of the Gundlach Shelter for all of their insight on this project. And lastly, I would like to thank my advisor, Dr. Carter, for helping me out so much. Thank you.